Hey there, welcome to Stat 200. This is the orientation video to let you know how you should navigate through the course page on Angel. So here I am, I'm logged in, I've got only this course here. I click into it, and this is what you should see. We've got a bunch of things on the intro page. This is our lessons tab, so this is what we're going to use primarily. And what I want you to do when you get in here, of course, is start here. Why I named it that. So in the Start Here folder, we've got a bunch of really important things. We've got the syllabus, first and foremost, most important document, I think, this semester, because a lot of questions are answered in that syllabus. So, I'm on Microsoft Windows 10. This is Microsoft Edge, but if you're using Chrome as well, you can open up some PDFs in your window. And this has got a lot of information on it. It's got my contact information, my phone number, all that stuff. It's got book information. Please be sure to read the textbook section, software section. This gives us the grading breakdown here and the dates. We have a proctored final exam. I'm going to talk about that a little bit of time here, a little more. Midterms, kind of a grade breakdown. There are a few things that are bolded or highlighted. So just make sure you really pay attention to those. Those are bolded or highlighted. They have a different color for a reason. I get a lot of people asking the same questions, and so I try to bold some things so you can read them quickly and easily. So you guys can read through that. This has the grading scale, all that stuff, everything. And you guys can read that on your own time. I won't read it for you. We have this orientation module for stat courses. So this is a simple thing. You just click in, and it kind of tells you how the online courses work, kind of what to be successful. There's actually a whole section on the proctored exam. I'm hitting this more specifically than other parts of the course just because it's important. You're going to need a proctor for the final exam. And I've got a separate page to talk just about that. But a lot of course questions are answered here as well. So you get information and resources. You can get tips and stuff for being successful. Of course, I'm sure many of you are already practicing them. If this is not your first semester with Penn State, you get all these things here. Let's go back. There's an orientation quiz I'd like you to take. It just kind of lets me know that you guys read it and that you understand what's going on. It's just kind of like a make sure you understand kind of deal. All right, and I'm going to go back to the Start Here folder. Introductions, there's this little Dropbox here, not a Dropbox, I'm sorry, a discussion forum. And I want you to just come in here and post a few things about yourself, just a new post, maybe put your name in the post title, and, you know, something simple. It doesn't have to be anything super long if you're not that kind of person. If you want to tell us a little more about yourself, please feel free. I'll read all those. Let's go back. Assignment and exam schedule. I really want you to read this early on because this gives you the dates. So it tells you the lessons, it tells you the chapters that it corresponds to in the book. It gives you the dates that everything is due. It kind of just gives you a general outline. And I also have a bunch of important suggestions at the bottom. Some of them are available in the syllabus as well. But you may want to just read through these. Just read it once. You don't have to read it throughout the semester. Just read it one time, and that should be all you need. The syllabus you might want to read a few more times, just because there are things that come up later on in the semester that are going to be addressed as well. So take a look. All right, coming back. This is just a comic. This is just a comic that I enjoy because as a teacher I get a lot of really funky messages. So take a look when you can. It's kind of a syntax comedy. Here's a YouTube video on why we study statistics. I think this was put out by the American Statistical Association. Just on why statistics is important and why it's good that you're taking the class. And here's something important. So the class has a component that's in a program run by Pearson, the book publisher, called MyStatLab. You click on this, and this is a registration handout. So you look on this registration handout, and it tells you how to register for the class. Now, an important point is you don't have to order anything. You can go to the website like right now. You can click on that. Go to that website immediately. Oh man, it's kicked me back out. Register for the course. Sorry about that. You can click on that, open it up, and you can follow all the steps. You can register as a student. You're just going to need these things, and the course ID is on that piece of paper, on that PDF that we were just looking at. And then you can just use your credit card, order immediately, and having access to MyStatLab also gives you access to the ebook. So there is an online ebook. If that is enough for you, if you don't feel like you need a physical text, that's fine. That's great. You don't need to spend any more money. You can just take the ebook on the screen. You have to be connected to the internet to use it, of course, but I think you can even use it if you have an iPad. I think you might be able to access it on an iPad as well. I'm not sure. So that's also very important because you actually have something in lesson 1, lesson 2. You have something every single lesson in MyStatLab. And it counts for 10% of your final grade. So if you don't do it, if you get a perfect score on everything else, the very best you can do is an A-. So register for the course in MyStatLab. That also gives you access to the textbook. And you don't need to do anything else to get that access. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. And finally, I said I was going to talk more about this, and here it is, the proctored exam final information. So this is a bunch of rules. Basically what happens is you go find somebody, either in your community or if you live near a Penn State campus or you're on a Penn State campus, whatever, you got to go find somebody who can serve as a proctor. And if you don't live on campus, as many of you don't, you can find somebody in your community. You can go to a library. You can ask a member of a church, or any kind of religious leader. That's fine. If you're in the military, someone who is higher than you in rank, and many more actually. There are lots of different people who could be proctors for you, but you need to find them, and you need to get these all set up now. You're going to need then you don't have to worry about any lag time. When you get towards the end of the semester, everybody starts to do this at the same time, and sometimes it takes a few days. And I've had students who put it off until the first day of the final exam, or even the second day of the final exam, and then they go to register their proctor, and Penn State Outreach, Penn State Learning, Penn State Local, they all kind of manage this. They take a little bit of time, and that takes time away from you. And it's not a valid excuse to miss taking the exam. If you don't have a proctor registered, that doesn't count as an excuse. I'm letting you know right now in August what you need to do. So just go in, check it out, get your proctor set up. It's really not a long process, 5-minute process. Just make sure you have somebody to go to. I do want to hit a point. Criterion webcams, not necessary for our class. All right? Just to let you know, you don't need to purchase one. It says it right here. So some World Campus courses use Criterion. We do not. Don't worry about that. All right. So that's the Start Here folder. That's kind of like what you should do immediately upon entering. Just go through all that stuff. Next, we have my virtual office. So we use Adobe Connect software. And if you click on it, let's see what happens. Yeah, it'll ask you to log in. I can go ahead and hit log in since I'm already in Angel, and it should log in for me automatically. So I'll give it a second here. You may have to install something the first time you run this, the Adobe Connect add-in. And here it is. It's loaded up, connecting, and this is what it'll look like. So it shows me in here. If you guys want to meet with me, we can speak. Microphone's enabled, and I can share documents here. We can look at videos, whatever. So that's the meeting room. That's what we use that for. Let's get back to Angel. All right, next. This is probably the most important one. Lessons, the lessons folder. So you're going to click in, and you're going to see lessons. Lesson 1, Lesson 2, and more will be released sequentially. I always keep 2 available. You'll see that in some of the documents that I actually already showed you. The assignment and exam schedule, and I think the syllabus both mention this. But you should have 2 lessons open to you at all times. So Lesson 1, you're going to click in. This is a new thing this semester. We're going to add a to-do list. This just kind of keeps everything straight. Now, Lesson 1 has a long to-do list. That's because I want you to do things like read the syllabus, read the schedule, take the goals survey, which is not in the Start Here folder. It will be when the class starts. Yeah, it's not there right now. It will be. It's another assessment. It's not a graded assessment. It's something we're doing with the University of Minnesota to kind of see how effective these classes are. So you go in there, just try your best. It doesn't take that long. And then we're going to take it again at the end of the semester just to see, how far you've come. We've got a link to the online notes. You click on that, and this pops up. You get the lesson notes here. It's been completely rewritten. It's actually brand new, fall 2015. So this is all new stuff. It's different from anything we've had in the past. I mean, it's similar because it's all the same content, but it's just been rewritten. These should be in HTML5 now, I believe, so they should run on most modern browsers. We've got examples. We've got terms here that are defined. We just have this is more or less our introduction lesson, just kind of gets us into what we need. Minitab Express, which you can read about in the syllabus, software you're going to need, and you can go online and get it. You can rent it for 6 months, and I want to say it's like 30 or 40 bucks. But it is necessary. We're going to be using it for unit quizzes and lab activities, so you're going to need to get that sooner rather than later. And then at the end, we always have a summary every week. So we read that. If you want any more clarification, you can go to the online textbook. What I suggest doing is you guys can go to MyStatLab and do the Lesson 1 activities in MyStatLab. Now, MyStatLab comes with media and with problem sets. So the media is really easy. You get full credit for watching them. You don't have to do anything, you just watch them. And they're usually really short, like 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. And you get 100% credit on that portion of MyStatLab. And then you also have kind of homework. And the advantage to the MyStatLab homework is you have infinite tries. You can keep trying until you get 100% on everything. And it's made by the publisher of the textbook. They have great examples that show you how to do very similar problems. From the past, from what I've heard of other students, they really like it. It's just really consistent, it's really easy, and it really helps explain what you need to do. What else? After you've done the MyStatLab activity, try doing lab activity 1. So you'll click into it. It'll take you to a document. So finish downloading. I'll open it up. And there it is. You get lab activities kind of like this document format. What I'd like you to do, if you could, is when you write your answers, I'd like you to write them in red font. So just go ahead and whatever editor you're using, I use LibreOffice. If you use Word or whatever, you can do the same thing. But whenever you write your answers, just write them in this red font. It makes it really easy for me to grade. It makes it really easy for you to see which ones you have or haven't done. You leave fewer items blank this way. So you answer in this red font all the questions. When you do that, once you've finished, you're going to save. So probably save as and do something like lesson 1, lab activity, and maybe your initials, something like that. Something personally identifiable, just so it's easy to tell who made it. And then you'll save it. You'll come back to our lesson page, and you're going to go to the Dropbox. Once you're in the Dropbox, you can put a little title. Here's Lab 1. And then you can write me a little message if you like. Have a great week. Something like that. Then you're going to click Attachments. You're going to go to Browse. You're going to upload a file, so you're going to go to Browse. Go to, I saved it in Downloads. So you go here. Here's my lab activity DAS. I can click on that, upload the file. Oh, it didn't work that time. This is good. I'm glad that it's showing you that this can sometimes not work perfectly. Oh no. Maybe this is an issue with Microsoft Edge. I think it is. What you're going to do is you're going to browse, you'll select a file, you'll upload it, and then you got to click on it here and say finished. And it'll appear as an attachment. And once you have an attachment here, you click submit, and it should be in there. And make sure that there's a file attached. I get a lot of empty submissions, so people submit nothing to me, and then I have to send you an email and say you didn't submit it. Please email it to me. And then once you do that, once you finish the lab activity, these solutions will become available to you. So apparently I forgot to lock this one. But usually when you have these, you won't be able to, you'll be able to click on it, but it will just say it's locked, or it'll ask you for a password that you don't have. And as soon as you turn something in, these solutions will open. You can take a look, see how well you did. It's instant feedback. That's why I do it. I want you guys to do the lab activity and then turn it in. I'm very lenient with the grading on the lab activities. So it's not, you don't get points for completion, but I am very, very, very lenient. If you get the right idea, if I see that you're trying, I take away very, very few points. Okay. So let's go back to lab activity 1, and then finally, the last thing you should do every lesson, in my opinion, you can of course do them in any order you'd like. The last thing I'd like you to do is take the unit quiz. Now this first one is kind of easy. It's 100% for completing. There's nothing wrong, blah, 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 right? But in the future, for example, in lesson 2, the unit quiz is going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay, comes up, and there you go. You have a bunch of questions. A lot of them are going to be multiple choice. Every once in a while, you'll have to answer a number, but not that hard. You get a timer here, as you usually have like 30 minutes or so. You just answer, do what you can, and then you submit it at the end. Okay? And if you X out like I just did, the timer does not stop. So I'll click back in, and now you'll see it's not starting at 30 minutes. It's starting at 29 minutes and 30 seconds. And there's no way to save it. So when you start that lab activity, when you start that unit quiz, make sure you're there to finish it. Like, make sure you have some time. Some nice, quiet time when you can concentrate and get it done. Now, it's not that hard. I mean, it's 14 questions. If you've read the notes and you understand what's going on in the lesson, it shouldn't take you anywhere near that long. You can probably get it done in 5 to 10 minutes. But this gives you plenty of time. Take it easy. Don't be stressed. And just fill out the answers, turn them in, get it done by the due date, which is 11:59 p.m. on whatever Monday is following the release. And of course, I give you the due dates in the lesson. This is due September 8th, Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, another thing you may have noticed in both Lesson 1 and Lesson 2 is we have these discussion boards. Let's go back to Lesson 1, I'll show you. We have this discussion forum. If you have a question, if you're ever to the point where you're like, help, I don't know what a representative sample is. So you can say, I've read XYZ, and I think I understand, but can anyone tell me in their own words. And that gets sent to everybody. Anybody can go on the discussion forum and see what you've posted. Now, I find that these discussion forums can be really helpful. So if you use the discussion forum, and I see you're an active participant throughout the semester, I give you some bonus points. Now, if you're a very active person, you can earn up to 5% bonus. That's 5 overall percentage points, you know? If you have an overall average at the end of the course of an 87, and you do a lot of participation on these forums, I'll bump you up 5 full percentage points. You'll go from an 87 to a 92. So it's not something that I do lightly. If you can participate, I don't think I've ever had somebody who participates heavily not do well in the class. Now, a word of caution, I do lab activity. No, definitely don't get that. I'll probably remove your post and I'll probably send you an email telling you not to do that again. Okay? But if you're asking good questions and you're not just saying, I don't know what to do, what do I do? That's a useless thing. That doesn't bring anything to the table. But if you post and you say, this is what I've read, this is what I've tried, I think this is what the answer is, can anybody help me out? That's great. That's perfect. Okay? So posting, asking and or answering questions. You guys can answer them as well. And I typically give people who answer more credit, you know, just because they're the ones who are doing the legwork. Anything else in the very beginning? The next lesson, so lesson 3, will appear September 1st. So this is due August 31st. This will appear September 3rd or 1st, and lesson 3 will be due September 14th. Usually they're due on Mondays. This one's due on Tuesday because of Labor Day. And I do that instead of a Sunday due date because I found that many of my students are taking multiple online classes and they're all due on Sunday. And so everybody gets this huge crunch. You know, many of you are working full time, and then over the weekend they try to do whatever they can, and then there's this huge crunch Sunday night to get everything in on time. And a lot of people don't make it. So I made mine on Monday, so you can try to get it all done by Sunday. If you don't finish it on Sunday, just do it on Monday. Sound good? And I'm very, very lenient. I'm very willing to work with you if you have had a hard week, whatever your boss says, you know, I need you to travel or something this week. That's fine. Just let me know. Let me know before the deadline, and I'm happy to extend it. But if you tell me after the deadline, no, that's fine. I'm going to take away 20% each day that it's late if you don't tell me beforehand. Moving on, mastery quizzes. Right now, there's nothing available for you in here. But come week 7, there's a mastery quiz for midterm 1 in there. I'm going to change the name of this from mastery quizzes to midterm. And midterm 1 will be in there. And it's just like any other midterm. You don't need to be proctored. You pretty sure, yeah, no, we've taken out the Minitab requirements. So you won't need Minitab. You'll have 110 minutes to do it, 45 to 50 questions to answer. And it's just like any of the unit quizzes. And actually, those are a great place to start studying. If you understand the unit quizzes, you can understand the mastery quizzes. They're the same. And the unit quizzes have feedback on them. So if you get something wrong, you'll be able to look at it and say, oh, I got it wrong because this. Okay? Data sets. Now, I'm going to try to remember, these are all in Minitab format, of course. I'm going to try to remember to put all the data sets required for each lab activity in the lab activity folder. If I forget, then that will be here. It might be in this folder here. And I'm just going to show you an example. Click on one of these, it's going to be Minitab format. So you need to have Minitab Express. And I can open it, and you guys will have Minitab Express. Like so. There you go. And so this is a survey from, gosh, I want to say like 2010, something like that. They asked people a whole bunch of questions and recorded those answers down. And we'll be using this for at least one lab activity. Anyway, you're going to do some analyses in Minitab, you put them into your Word document, you'll turn them in for your lab activity. All right, so that's data sets. Tech support. This is when you guys are having problems. Angel keeps on saying you're not authorized for something, or is giving you a registration issue, or you can't get onto MyStatLab even though you've paid for it, or your proctor just moved out of the state and now you need to organize a new one. Click here, brings you up to this page, which is like the World Campus kind of, these are the important numbers you should call. So Minitab questions here, MyStatLab, proctor information, Angel technical issues here. You can give them a call immediately. You can also contact, you can contact World Campus and MyStatLab. I think there's a live chat feature. You can talk with them if you don't want to talk to a human being. But it's really easy to call them, and they're really fast. Minitab specifically is also very, very fast. I've had really good experiences with their customer service. That's tech support, useful links. So people post asking for other resources. Sometimes they're not getting it through the lesson notes, and they don't like Pearson's approach, and they don't feel like talking to me. These are useful links to other resources that will help you out. And here's an introduction to Minitab Express. I think this is actually going to be included. Well, part of it is included in the lesson 1, but if you wanted to have more help here, there it is. And that's our page. If you've never been here before, the grades will be in the grades tab. That to all course faculty. You can do Spencer. That's my last name. Spencer. Enter, and it'll go. You mean this guy? And you pop that in there. Okay, but your message like an email. That's actually probably the best way to get to me. I'm most likely to respond to that. Another note. If you're in here on the Communicate tab, you can subscribe to discussion forums. If you subscribe to the discussion forums and you participate, so if somebody posts a question and you answer it, it's just more likely you're going to get more extra credit. You know what I mean? So that seems like a decent investment. You just hit subscribe on both of these and no problem. I'll actually show you. Here's what happens. It just reloads it, and now you see that it says unsubscribe, which means you're subscribed to this one. You do it to all of them as they become available every week. It's great. It helps you stay on top and get more extra credit that way. Final notes for our course. I think my final note is that I've done a lot of one-on-one conversations. In the syllabus, I've got my phone number listed. So if you are students who forgot their ID to their final, or they were taking a midterm and all of a sudden like their computer shut down or something, and they call me, they let me know what's going on as it's going on, and try to be as helpful as possible. If I can't answer, I will. I live on the West Coast, as it says, so if you call me in this span of time, my phone won't even ring. My phone is off at that point. But yeah, please feel free to call me. I try to be the best resource you can have available. So if you're struggling in the class, you're not getting something, please feel free to set up a meeting. So welcome to the class, and